All right. It is recording, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So did you guys answer the questions?
Yes.
No, I haven't. What?
So there were questions that we were supposed to answer. Was it supposed to be individually or as a group?
I think we're supposed to discuss it as a group, but then we have to submit an individual paper with the answers.
Okay, because I filled out all the answers, so I know what to talk about.
Yeah. So we can just start with the questions. I mean,
okay.
I think that would be okay.
That works. So it says, as a group, discuss and give a creative, critical, and specific response to the following questions. You will meet in Zoom, record the session, and submit the link to the group's recording. There is an attached Word document for you to record the group's responses and take notes during the activity. Download the document and insert your group's answers. When you have finished the activity and recorded all your group's responses, click Open below to submit the document. Each member of the group submits their own copy of the group document. And the first question, it says, number 1, please read the following article. Self-reliance, what to do when you see cyberbullying. How could parents use these tips to address cyberbullying with their children?
So I think that website is actually from the Mormon Channel. And it just lists different facts and it gives some tips. And
Okay, I have a question. Where are the questions at? I cannot find them.
It's in the small group activity. It says Cyber Deviance, due date 3. And do you see where it says small group activity when you scroll down and it has an activity document?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's where we're getting the questions from.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Genevieve.
You're welcome. So what were you saying?
I lost it.
You said the website is from the Mormon Channel and it's tips.
Yes. So it gives us some tips. So the question is, how could parents use these tips to address cyberbullying with their children?
Yes. What I said is parents should keep a close eye on their children's social media account and make sure that they're not doing things like adding strangers and not being bullied. Parents should use these tips as guidelines to teach children about cyberbullying. I think reading the article to them would be beneficial.
Yeah. I think it's important just to have a discussion with them and just I know like the church really helps us with this, but just having a talk and having an open conversation about like our agency and how it is a gift and what is expected of them. And I think that should be the foundation of getting them to know the importance of just making the right choices, even in something that's sometimes the internet may seem harmless, but just raising that awareness, I think it would be helpful.
Okay. I think that's a good idea, making agency the foundation and being sure the discussion is open. Those are good ideas. And then it says, how could schools use these tips to address cyberbullying with their students? And I said schools could use the tips as guidelines to see when kids are being cyberbullied and need assistance. sometimes kids don't even really know what classifies as cyberbullying. So educating them would be important, and educating like the teachers,
Yeah.
I feel like would be important.
Yes, I think, I mean, it's just easy to tell the youth you shouldn't do something, but most of the time, I think parents, and in this case, the school, they don't take the time to explain why. And that's what's important. Like, yes,
Yeah.
you know, these things can be hurtful because of, and then just explaining them, it's just gonna open their minds and actually know why they shouldn't do certain things.
I agree. Um, in later adolescence, teens may experience a crisis described by Erik Erikson as a struggle between ego identity and role diffusion. How could issues such as cyberbullying, cyberstalking, and sexting influence these struggles? Make sure you consider Erikson's definition of ego identity and role diffusion. So I quoted the book and I said, role diffusion occurs when youths experience uncertainty and place themselves at the mercy of leaders who promise to give them a sense of identity when they cannot mold for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
These things would influence the struggle because these things are more role diffusion than ego identity. Even though some may seem to be ego identity at first glance, like it seems like people are not inserting, what's the word? Asserting their independence. They're not. They're handing over their agency basically to have society make decisions for them
Mm-hmm.
and popular culture.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
So I also I like what you said, and I also quoted some of the book of the paragraphs in the book, but I also remember how it says that because of technology, I mean that has been an influential element, and it's basically it has complicated the situation because there are many teenagers who see their peers with like the newest phone model or and their parents can't really afford it, so that just pretty much just leads to, I mean, it could lead to petty crime for social acceptance. So
Right.
they're at this stage that they don't really know where they are at in a way.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very interesting because then I looked back when I was a teenager and I was like, oh, okay, did I behave this way? And I could see certain times that, yes, I may have had, like, I was in between my ego identity and role diffusion. And even though I didn't experience like cyberbullying or stalking or sexting, like I can see how those factors could have influenced me.
Yeah. The influence of society is pretty strong.
Yeah.
Um, Questions 3 says, do you think that cybercrime should be considered a status offense or a delinquency? How would discipline change depending on this categorization? Um, I said, I'm not sure I understand the difference between those two. I think I don't remember. But I said, I think it should be considered delinquency because no one should be committing the crimes. Because I believe status offenses are when a minor does something like drinking, which would be legal if they were older.
Mm-hmm.
And delinquency is just breaking the laws as a minor. So I think it should be delinquency or Or crime. It could be a crime for adults too. I feel like it's more prevalent among teens, but it could be something adults do.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm just taking a little bit longer because I think I have my questions mixed up. So whenever you said 3, I think I was looking at something else.
Oh.
Okay, so I think I'm sorry I'm taking long. I think I don't know if I opened another document, or if our instructor updated the document, but like I answered other questions that were not here.
Oh.
Like it's weird because so question number 4, for example, says should parents be held accountable for child cyberbullying, and I have something else. And I'm sure I followed questions, but I don't know if she updated a document, because I did this like over the weekend.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So now I'm thinking I may have to do something else.
Okay. Let's see. Which one would the newer one be?
I think it's this one, the one that we're going over, but I remember that with mine, actually,
'Cause I'm opening one right now to see.
because I know for question 4, it's what experience have you had?
Oh.
Oh,
Interesting. Mine doesn't say anything like that.
yeah, that one's about like whether the parent should be charged. Yeah.
Yeah, I opened a new one, and the most updated version is the 4 questions.
Yeah.
So
I think she updated it, and I did it before that.
Oh, like over the
I'll
weekend.
just have to talk to her, I guess. But the first question was the same one. I think the last ones are the ones that she changed.
Oh.
Okay, we can just go over question 4, and then maybe we can look at your document and talk about some of those, because we're way under on time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then I'll ask on the discussion board if it needs to be 45 minutes or if it can be shorter.
Okay.
But so the question 4 says, should parents be accountable for cyberbullying, a child cyberbullying, stalking, or sexting? Why or why not? And I said, parents should not be held accountable because they didn't do it, but parents should be held accountable for disciplining their child and making sure they don't do it again.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think children, again, they do have the agency, but parents should sit down with them and just raise the awareness.
Okay, I'm posting on the questions and conversations board asking about the 45 time limit because, I mean, not time limit, like how she said 45 minutes, because it makes it harder for us to reach that because only 3 of us are here.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's less discussion. And how many people were in our group?
I think there were like 5.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so only half of us are here. So we only went like half the time. But we answered all the questions, so should we call it good or should we go for another 20 minutes?
I mean, I think we covered everything.
Yeah.
I know that we're still in the same group next time, right?
Yeah,
Right.
I think this is for the rest of the semester. Is that correct, or am I?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think like just next time we should just, I don't know, get everything prepared before time and just let them know, and let our other group members know what we did pretty much.
You guys want to try meeting on Mondays? Is Mondays better for you guys, or Wednesdays, or
Mondays for me are better.
Genevieve?
Yeah. Any day works for me.
Okay. All right. And the other 2 we'll have to wait and see what their schedule is. I think I want to like get this done earlier in the week.
Yeah,
I think they signed up for Monday, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will submit this and we all each individually submit that paper.
Yes.
Okay. So